Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Loremaster the Absurd, the podcast that covers the absurd films of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. As always, you have your host, Loremaster Jeff, myself, Loremaster Eli. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm actually doing really good. It was had a really inspirational movie this week. So
Oh, inspirational.
Mhm.
I guess we should kind of maybe explain what the inspiration for this month's movies. It's a
Mhm.
new month, new us, right?
Mhm.
Um, we're in the would you call it the bright and hope-filled month of April?
I don't know if I'd say that, but it's definitely a more lighthearted month than last month. So
Yeah, we thought we thought this April Fools occurs in the first day of April, that we would do a month of April Foolish movies, or basically just comedies, right?
Mhm.
Um, do you like a good comedy movie?
I do enjoy a good comedy movie.
Yeah. Does what's your favorite type of comedy? Are you one of those guys that like that smart comedy, or do you like, fart and poop jokes?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I do enjoy the more kind of clever comedy.
Okay.
Um, but a certain it depends. I mean, if it's just like wanting nonsense, they just do it to do it, that's different.
Yeah.
But if they're doing it to be like South Park, for instance, does it ironically doing it that way,
Right.
yeah, if that makes sense, like
Right.
they know what they're doing, you know what I mean, they're
Right.
doing it because it's
And it's
nonsense.
actually there's a lot
Okay.
of smart comedy
Right,
like
right.
in those fart dick
Mhm.
and fart jokes, yeah.
But then there's other things that are just they're stupid. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
like
Um
Clerks, or not Clerks. What did we do? Mallrats.
how dare
Mallrats.
okay, first off, both those are not how dare you? You know what?
Mallrats.
Can I
Mallrats
can,
suck.
can I can I ask you a question?
You can, yeah,
Is
sure you
is
can.
the real reason you do this show is so week after week you can hurt me? Because if so, you're succeeding.
That's just a byproduct. It's
Last week, you told people who listen to not let me destroy their dreams.
Well, I mean, that's just good advice, though. I mean,
Whose dreams have I ever destroyed?
I'm sure there's some people out there.
Have I ever destroyed your dreams?
No, no.
Which
You
is
can't
weird
even
because you
you
stepped
can't
all
even
over
reach
Heath
my
Ledger.
dreams. You can't
Wow.
reach my dreams.
Wow. Well, yeah, I know, because I don't want to go to a cemetery in Australia and watch you stomping all over some poor actor's grave.
You're the one who keeps bringing him up.
Well,
So
when you're
I'm
a
just
villain
saying.
apologist, I feel like I just got to remind fine folks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Villain apology.
But hey, I guess we should tell everybody what we watched this week. So we thought for our first comedy film of April, we thought we would go back to talk about
Classic.
a 1980s classic.
70s. Was it 77?
No, released in 80, I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought this was 77.
Oh no, you're right. 77. The second one was released in 80. You're right. Released in 1977, this 70s classic with what I would argue is one of the most famous mustaches in Hollywood
For
at the
sure.
time.
Yep.
We're talking about a little film called Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, there was a lot of mustaches in this movie.
Yeah, but I think like Burt Reynolds like mustache. I mean that he was known for that mustache.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
Like that man had a mustache that people could see far and wide. Just throwing that out there, which is weird because and he was still known even when he died. He was known for that mustache, but he didn't have the mustache then. He started shaving it in like the
his
90s,
later
right?
years. Yeah, he got rid of it. Yep.
Whereas everybody talked about that Burt Reynolds mustache. But yeah, so we're talking about Smoking the Bandit, so this should be interesting. But before we get into it, I figure I'll read the back of the VHS cover. I will say this: even if you find that it doesn't make sense, this may be the best VHS cover I've seen in weeks. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Baby blue background, black
Nice.
font. I can
Easy
read
to
it.
read.
I can read it. And I don't think I'm asking too much. You know what I mean?
It doesn't seem like you're asking too
Because like,
much. I mean,
why put words on the back of it if you don't want people to read it?
it's true.
But I digress. Uh, Smokey and the Bandit uh, is a big time box office hit. So they already knew.
Hmm.
They already knew. Burt Reynolds is the Bandit, a king of the road trucker hero who has accepted a challenge to pick up a truckload of Coors beer in Texarkana, the closest place it can be legally sold, and bring it back to Atlanta in 28 hours. The reward $80,000. The result the wildest series of car chases and crashes ever filmed because a Texas Smokey has become maniacally obsessed with apprehending the bandit who has joined forces with his son's runaway bride.
I agree with that.
That's a pretty good one,
I
right?
agree. Yeah, that's a fairly accurate depiction of this movie.
To the point, makes sense, easy to read, can't complain. So, Jeff, I got to ask, is this your first time watching Smokey the Bandit? What'd you think?
Uh, it is not my first time watching this movie. I've seen it a few times. And I think it is a I don't want to say fantastic movie. It's a good movie, it's entertaining. But it's yeah, I mean I thought it was a good movie. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This movie where I grew up was a really rural area where a lot of people were truckers. For some reason, in order for you to make it past the age of 12 in where I lived, you had to watch this movie and loved it, or else they would throw you
yeah,
in the river.
yeah,
Um,
you're out of
everybody,
luck.
everybody loved it. I've watched it quite a few times. It's been a couple years since I've watched it, and
Mhm.
um, upon rewatch, I was not disappointed. Like you said, I don't know if I would call this the greatest comedy film ever made.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, it wasn't a bad uh uh it was bad. Yeah. It had some funny moments. There's some funny lines in it. Um I will warn up top for anybody that watch this. There are aspects of this movie that has not aged well. Just because there was some jokes and dialogue that were socially acceptable at the time. That is not now, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, there's definitely some. I think, you know what, there's more impl- implication of things than actual, like,
Yeah.
they don't actually say a lot of things that are, you know what I mean?
There's only
There's
two
like,
lines I can think
there's
of
right. There's
that
some
were
like,
actually said, yeah.
there's some like, like, like
Right.
wink, wink type of lines, but like,
Right.
there's not a ton of blatant,
Right.
um, uh terminology in this movie that would really kind of get people in trouble. But yeah, there's definitely some maybe off center you
Right.
know phrases and that kind of stuff in it. So
Right.
but
So just keep that in mind. But other than that, like they're like yeah, Burt Reynolds.
mhm.
This is probably prime Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, well,
And
yeah, because this is well, not his first movie, but this is kind of in that
like
Burt
I mean,
Reynolds,
this was
like,
definitely like one of
his heyday, you know what I mean?
yeah, like he was really famous for. Because like I'm trying to think, like he did like Deliverance before this.
And that was quite a different movie
Yeah,
than
it was
this.
quite a different movie. Um,
Poor Ned Beatty.
oh my god. Uh, but he had like a bunch of movies before that, but like Smokey might be besides
He's definitely an
Deliverance.
iconic character,
Yeah,
you know.
Smokey might be like his big breakout role because like I'm looking. Oh my god, this guy! Did you know he started acting in 1958?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that old. Oh my
I was
god.
watching there was I forget, it was a YouTube clip or something I watched, but they were talking to him, and I think it was him and Clint Eastwood. They were on a movie set, or they were trying out for a movie, and they both got fired by the same director. And the director said something like, he told Burt Reynolds, he's like, "You'll never amount to anything. You have no talent." And then like he told Clint Eastwood, he's like, "You look really funny. Nobody will ever want you in movies," or something like that. Like,
So I'm
you know,
assuming that very quickly that he wasn't allowed to direct anything else.
yeah, I don't know,
You
but
know,
yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny because he's like, yeah,
like
it's like,
I just
well,
because like Burt Reynolds went on to become like I mean for God's sake he was a character in the cartoon Archer.
Yeah,
where he
yeah,
did his
no,
own voice.
yeah, he's an icon for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
my God. Um, you know what? The best way I can describe this movie:
What's
the
that?
Hillbilly Avengers.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Hillbilly
this movie
Avenger.
had a stacked cast
Hmm.
for the time. You had Burt Reynolds, Jerry Reed, who played Snowman, was a famous country singer.
Hmm.
Sally Field, who'd been in a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
stuff. Um, uh, Jackie Gleason, who was
How old was she in this movie?
oh my God, this was really. She's in her 20s, I think.
I thought so, but like she has really bad wrinkles on her face, like and and I don't know if the makeup wasn't good or what, but like she looked pretty old in this movie, and I'm like,
Oh,
man, her
I'm sorry. No, she was not. She was probably in her
30s.
mid mid 30s
Okay,
at this point.
I mean, not that
Early
she
to mid
looked
30s.
bad, but like she looked older than I thought she was. Her face looked older than her body betrayed. Like how's that how's that sound? Like
You know what though? She started acting when she was young. How
yeah, yeah.
old was Sally Field? It's Smokey the Bandit. Apparently, that is a common. Um. Oh, she was 31 when she did Smokey
Okay.
the Bandit.
Oh,
31.
that's not that old. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, I don't know. Maybe I've just never found Sally Fields attractive. You know what I mean? I don't. Just me personally, I just never found her like that attractive. Her face just is kind of plain, like what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's not like gorgeous or I don't know. There's just nothing. There's something about her like I don't really. She doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Like
You know what I think the thing with her, like with how I feel like, because I was the same way, but more with her is like I just she was definitely she's like definitely typecasted as certain type of characters,
mhm.
and I don't like most of her
Annoying.
characters.
Like
Yeah, kind of.
yeah,
Or
mhm.
like talks real fast and like kind of
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
or like whatever, and like I'm just like okay, all right,
yeah, yeah.
sure, okay.
That
But
was
yeah,
great.
so like, this was like the Hillbilly Avengers because like you had all these like famous people, and this was like, I mean, like I dare you to find a rural NASCAR fan who doesn't think this is the greatest movie ever made.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
You're
throw that out
probably
there.
true.
Just throw
You
that
know
out
what?
there.
You know what I enjoyed about this movie is, especially coming off the back of John Wick 4, like this movie understood what it was.
Yep.
This is a movie about cars and driving fast and wrecking shit. That's all this movie is about. Like the beer thing is like a subplot. Like nobody really cares because it doesn't make any sense. But
Mhm.
like there's just the whole movie is a car chase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it and it understands that. It's like, hey, we're making a movie about cars chasing each other, and that's what we're gonna make. Oh yeah, there's a truck and some people maybe and Big Enos and Little Enos, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like it literally didn't make any sense. Like like
Dude,
the whole
the
plot, but like
plot is so simplistic. You're right, it doesn't make sense on whole, but it's so simplistic. Like they are trying to get from
yeah, yeah,
Atlanta to Texarkana and back in like 2 days,
28 hours, yeah,
28 hours with 400 cases of Coors Light.
yeah,
Smoke or the bandit, Burt Reynolds, is driving the lead car. So basically, his job is to anytime the police are going to pull over this truck, he's got to fuck with them so they chase him
yeah. So they
instead.
chase him, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got to outrun the police. He bought a Trans Am,
Which
and the
I'm buying a
sheriff.
Trans Am
Oh
after this
hell
movie.
yeah! Did you see how
Jesus
thing was
Christ,
riding?
that thing goes everywhere.
Yeah,
There ain't no stopping the Trans
it
Am.
don't
Like,
break.
I know, yeah, yeah.
And like the sheriff and like cops are following him, and he's causing them all to wreck. And there's a sheriff from Texas who, from the time this movie starts to the time it ends, the time it ends, he's basically driving the engine block around,
His car
and
gets
like
destroyed.
him just saying ridiculous shit, and you just watching his car get destroyed every other
Right.
scene.
Yeah. Just ridiculous. The most ridiculous
Simplistic,
thing you could think. Yep.
but
Mhm.
it's all practical effects. So like it actually, like some of the car scenes like actually look fucking
Right. Like,
cool.
especially even like when they're in the car.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that too, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching. It was like a shot where like Burt Reynolds is talking and Sally Fields is and you see the window going by, and I'm like, man, that looks really good for like the 70s. And I'm like, wait, that's a real effect. They didn't use a green screen or anything. Like
No.
they 100% strapped a camera to the side of the car,
Yeah.
and drove 100 miles an hour. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
It's like insanity. And like do you see like all these stunts? Like at one point, like they jump a broken bridge, like it doesn't have a
Yeah.
center. Like
Yeah.
it's like then they're jumping into a baseball game, and like there were scenes where like they're like running through crowds and like people are
Mhm.
diving out of the way. There's a couple times you see like these stunt people are like trying to like do it by listening because like
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
scene like they end up driving through like a football game, right?
Yeah. Where
And
them
like
two guys are at the gate or whatever.
and they're
Like
and you can see the way they're standing, they're literally listening and trying to time that the fucking car coming.
yeah. Yeah.
And then like when they jump out of the way, it's so close to
So
one guy.
close. Yeah.
I was like, I thought for sure, I'm like, holy shit, I'm not gonna see him plow through that dude's legs. Uh, but like the effects in this are crazy.
hmm
And even like that semi truck with that big ass trailer, they're hauling ass
Dude,
in
right
that
at
thing.
the end, yeah, especially like these case, he's ripping it around them corners. Like, I'm
Yeah,
like, what the fuck's going on with this guy driving his
yeah.
truck? Like,
And what's crazy
that was
too
nuts.
about this movie is like I'm not one for like car chase movies or like I
Mhm.
don't like the Fast and Furious movies. I'm not
Wow,
like
did
a
you say that?
race. I just because I said it. I'm not like a race car fan, right?
Yeah,
But like and like I feel like the reason is because like a lot of those like they're just it's just like ridiculous shit in a car and like it's like okay whatever,
it's nonsense, right? I
right?
mean,
But
it's
like
nonsense.
this like those car scenes like it was like fucking cool because like they
Right,
were so
right,
realistic looking like I never thought for a second like oh that he couldn't do that Trans Am
right, right.
except for maybe jumping the bridge, but who gives a shit?
I mean, it wasn't that far though. I
No,
mean, you know what I'm saying?
and they bounced
Like,
like you could see
yeah,
like that
yeah,
the Trans Am bouncing. I don't know if you could do that without fucking something up because it
well, right,
smacked the
yeah,
ground
yeah,
hard.
yeah,
But I'm like you. I've never won a Trans Am in my life before, and
yeah.
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
I really want a Trans
I
Am
want
now.
a Trans Am.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
like you said, we went and saw John Wick for the weekend, and I'm pretty sure this Trans Am handled better than any sports car
The,
he drove in that fourth movie.
well, and that's the other thing too. These just kind of not. It's not necessarily the muscle car era, but like this is still the era where you had those big,
Mm,
loud cars. You know, because I mean, you have fast cars and stuff now, but they're not. It's not the same. You know what I
right,
mean? Like it's not like you don't have that huge engine just grab. You know what I mean? Like
right,
it's just because this is what that like everybody had one like the cars
right,
everybody had like you know what I mean
right,
so yeah, it was definitely a it was the it was the right time to do this movie, you know what I
right,
mean? Like
right.
so
And I think to your point, like when they decided they do this, they decided we're not gonna make the plot overly complicated.
mhm.
This is a movie about these outlaw truckers who are trying to basically bootleg beer
Yeah,
across
yeah.
4 states. And one guy's got a lead car. He's gonna fuck with the police the whole time, so the truck
Mhm.
driver can drive 100 miles an hour the whole way through.
Right
And like
down
the
the narrow back roads.
yep. And like the other thing this movie did was, if you don't think CB radios are
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 awesome.
awesome, here's an hour and a
Yeah,
half movie about
the
all the shit
CB
you can do with the
radios,
CB
yeah,
radio.
yeah.
Because he like everybody like because he plays a bandit, everybody like knew this was a legend, and anytime somebody heard the band on the radio, they're like, we'll do whatever you want to fuck the cops.
Yeah, yeah.
Prostitutes even convinced the one sheriff in the one town they're going
Yeah,
through
yeah.
to come visit them.
Right,
Like
yep,
it was
yep.
insanity. And like all these locals were like blocking the road and blocking traffic, and like hell,
Mhm.
even a funeral. There's a funeral procession, which I was funeral director before, like I do what I do now. Like I'm not anymore, but we didn't have a CB radio in the hearse. In this movie, they did, and then they like used the procession to stop the cops. And
To
everybody was
slow
like,
the cops
"Oh, the
down, yeah.
bandit!" You know, it's like, oh my god, it was
I need to get
crazy.
a CB
Mhm.
radio.
Oh my god, yeah, come off their handle names. And then like
Mhm.
Big Enos and Little Enos, the fact that they're like your pride, like no one's been able to do this. 28 hours, get 4 states to bring this beer, and they're like, we'll give you $80,000. They're like, that's big money. We're like nowadays, that's
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's big money to me, but for the most part, like that's really not a lot of money.
Well, so was he going to give him a truck or just the money? Because he
He,
said something about them Peterbilts are worth $80,000 or something like
he's
that.
got to give him 80,000 so he could buy one.
Okay. Oh, is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
but then he also gave
Which,
him the money to buy his Trans Am,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then
But there was a little bit of weird, like, I thought that was a little weird. Like, I don't know how much a truck costs. I don't
right,
know. Like nowadays, do you have any idea how much a trailer
oh,
for like
over
a
100,000.
really? But like it seemed like 80,000. for a truck back then seems really high when they were talking about everything else in like such small denominations, right? So like he says, because one of the things he picked up Sally Fields off the side of the road, right? Because
To answer your question, a semi truck, the average semi truck goes for between 120 and 160,000 now.
Okay, so there was something a little off because so when he picked up Sally Fields off the side of the road because she was going to get married but decided to
she was going to marry she was going to marry the sheriff's son.
Yeah, but like he said something about like, oh, I decorated the whole town and it cost me $40. Like there was just a couple weird off statements like that, and then he said like $80,000 for the truck, and I'm like, well, that seems like a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just a nitpick.
He says in the beginning, like he bought that Trans Am for $6,800.
Yeah.
Which you're not going to buy a sports car now for less than 35.
35, yeah, at least. Yeah. Not a respectable one,
know. No. It might have sportage in the name, but it is not a sports car.
Well, yeah. I'm looking at I was looking at a Challenger. There, the one I want's like $75,000. I'm like,
the Demon.
Like, maybe I better the Hellcat or whatever.
Oh, did you see the new Demons they came out with? They're 100,000.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even. It was just like the V8. You know what I mean? As the higher end, I think they start at like 55 or 58 or something like that. So.
But where we live in the winter, the fact that winter is 8 months out of the year here, that means 8 months you're driving a bobsled.
Well, yeah. I think that I don't know if they make them in all-wheel drive ones. I don't know.
All I know is
why would you do that?
I mean, who knows? But can you imagine being back in the 70s and like being like, I want a sports car. All I need is $7,000.
Yeah.
$7,000.
It's nuts.
But I was born in the wrong time. I'm just saying, could you imagine being in the 70s with my ghost rolls driving a Trans Am?
No.
Ghost I've been the coolest ghost hunter. What do you mean a ghost does like a Trans Am?
No, there's no ghosts that like Trans Ams.
Why wouldn't they not like a Trans Am?
Why would they want a Trans Am?
What does a ghost have anything to do with a Trans Am?
It has a lot to do with it. You know, if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to explain it to you.
Honestly, I think you're just making it up. The other thing about this movie too, I like, is it does have some like Jackie Gleason especially says some of the craziest shit I've ever heard.
It's not necessarily hilarious, but it's like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Like it's insanity.
For T-Justice, right?
And the fact that he's like driving across state lines, all the sheriffs are like, you have no jurisdiction here. He's like, I'm well respected sheriff for 30 years.
Yeah, I'll well respected sheriff.
It's like the fucking FBI at that time couldn't even go across state lines. Like this son bitch is chasing them, and like the worst cop in the world. Like legit the worst cop in the world. But like at one point, like he hates his son. And like one point he says, like, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna punch your mother right in the mouth.
It's like, what?
He hates his son so much.
Like, holy shit, man, this guy. Yeah, dude, he says some random ass shit in the whole way through the movie. Like,
he tells that what was he say that one guy? He goes, I wouldn't wipe my foot across your ass if you were cow shit.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you talking about?
What does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like for people who don't know, like Jack Gleason was like in a bunch of movies around this time. He's probably the most famous person in this movie. Fred Flintstone is based off him. Yeah, and like, no one can imagine the guy who Fred Flintstone is based off of telling somebody he's gonna punch their mother in the mouth or birth them.
Well, it was kind of his deal, right?
Yeah, bang, but like, boom, also can't say that I blame him, because if you look at his son, who like would fall asleep every other scene. Did you catch that? Yeah, like he was always just like passing out of sleep, and I'm like, was that like just his character, or was like that the actor was just legitimately like narcolepsy or like was drunk or something?
Yeah, his son definitely had some deficiencies, for lack of a better term.
I can understand why Sally Fields didn't want to marry him.
Yeah.
I can
Well, it's
understand.
weird because she's like, "Oh, I'm a dancer." I don't know if that meant she was like just an exotic dancer or
No, she
just.
said she was a chorus line dancer. Like she says it, she was a chorus line dancer.
Well, I know she said she was on Broadway for like 12 minutes or something like that, and then.
Yeah, but she said she was talking like they went around fairs and she said
Oh, okay,
shows
okay.
as a chorus line dancer or a box dancer. They're the ones that do like the 4 steps. Because
Mm.
she was doing the 4 step box on his windshield,
Which was
showing them.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she was like a chorus line like play dancer.
Hmm.
But at first you're right. Like I think they like imply like, oh, she's a stripper,
I thought she kind of was like
and
I thought
then
that was the thing.
yeah, I know like they kind of imply that, but then you find out like she was like from New York and she was an actual like she's a
Yeah,
dancer,
yeah.
like dancer. Which like there are like parts of this movie where like they like it like I think it goes with that kind of like some like the implications you were like, oh, well, that's okay. But like there's some things where I think they kind of lean in like they're gonna do a joke like, oh, she's a stripper, and then they're like, we better
Like,
not.
well, we'll just avoid that.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
better
they
not.
like I said, they implied a
Yeah.
hefty amount in this
Yeah.
movie. They didn't say there wasn't anything like overtly like awful, but they applied a fair amount of
Right.
stuff.
Because like there was even like a scene where like they're driving and like somehow Sally Field's driving, Burt Reynolds up past street and they want to switch because so Burt Reynolds could drive. And like she kept trying to where like she slides across his lap and he slides underneath of her. And like at one point she's like, oh, I like the feeling of your belt buckle. And I was like, what are you talking about, Sally Fields? What are you talking about?
I don't know, but every time I see, like, especially like looking at your background now, that picture, it did you ever see the the Jeopardy skit with
Oh
Norm
my
Macdonald?
God. Yes, where he
He,
pretends to be
like
Burt Reynolds.
he's like, oh, I'm Turd Ferguson. It's funny.
Yeah.
Turd
And
Fer-
where he
Dude,
has the big
that
ass
is my
cowboy hat
absolute,
on.
yeah, dude.
Yep.
That's my absolute favorite one ever. Like,
Oh,
I don't
those
know,
are
what
some of the best
cracks me up so
SNL
much.
skits when
Mm-hmm.
when Norm Macdonald would play Burt Reynolds,
Burt Reynolds, yep,
and you
and
had what's his name play Sean Connery.
so, oh man, yeah, those were. If you guys out there haven't seen them, just they're on YouTube. There
Yep.
are some of the funniest SNL skits that you will find. Like they're hilarious. Like
Yeah, like it's because like if you watch like real like what's crazy too, if you ever watch like real interviews of Burt Reynolds,
mm-hmm.
like that's how he acted.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was crazy. Like he'd be interviewing, he'd be like, yeah, let's put my gum on the carpet. See what I did there?
Yeah,
And people were like,
that's
all
what I
right,
did there.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
all
all right,
right.
Burt.
Like that's what
What are
he
you gonna do?
did.
Is Burt
Yeah,
Reynolds? You know,
right. Like the dude was in like, oh my God. Like when I looked, I forget how many movies I saw he was in. He was okay. His whole career, he was in 186 movies and,
jeez.
movies and television shows combined.
Mm-hmm.
He had 186 roles. Like that's
That's a
crazy.
lot. Mm-hmm.
And like I'll be honest, the last couple of years of his life, I did not see a single one of his movies, nor have I ever heard of them. Archer was the last thing I knew that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And after Archer, he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. He did 15 other projects after Archer,
Jeez.
and I don't know a single one of them.
He's a working man, that's for sure.
He was something. Like it's just it's crazy. So what like do you and like as like a bandit kind of rogue, like I mean, that's what Burt Reynolds was. It's like his character, the bandit was like a rogue. How do you think he like plays a rogue? Because I thought he was like one of the best like film rogues like I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I really liked about it because he was completely nonchalant about the fact that he wasn't egotistical. He's just like, man, I'm driving the car. Like, you know what I mean? But then he was just like he knew what he was doing and he didn't make a huge deal out of it. Like, and he wasn't even like he didn't even brag about it to like Sally Fields to try to sleep with her or something. Like it wasn't there. What he was just like. And I think that was what probably makes him so appealing is because he's too cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's not, yeah.
Right.
Where like something like, I don't know, those awful Fast and Furious movies, like there's just something about them that you know what I mean? They have like a bad attitude about the whole thing. You know, he's just like a lovable scamp that running from the
Yeah.
police, and and that's the thing. That's why everybody liked him, because they're all there was nobody but the police that was trying to get him. It wasn't like he had like an arch enemy out there that was
No.
trying to, what I mean? It's like
Everybody loved the Bandit. Like
yeah,
everybody,
because he's
all the
just like
truckers loved
he's
the
a great
Bandit.
guy. He's just like
Yep. And like
uh,
they're all like his truck had like it had a giant picture of like a western scene where like a bandit's robbing somebody.
yeah.
And like, which is like the only like show offy things I would say he like, well, besides driving, right? But like the only time he like tried to act show offy was like, well, not even try, but like his show off things was his truck, because they said who would drive a truck like that. And then two, like Sally Fields for a while keeps asking him what he does for a living, and like he keeps like once he's like, I just like I show off for a living, or like he says stuff like that, and you're like, you know what you're doing there, Bert.
Yeah, you son of a
Trying to
bitch.
get Sally Fields, you son of a bitch. And you know what? By God, he got her. He got the love interest, but it's like it's just crazy. Like it's like it was, I like it almost reminded me to a point where like if like even like fantasy, like you look at like fantasy stuff, like he was like he's like almost like a textbook lovable like D&D rogue,
right? Like
like because it's just crazy. Like, can you imagine playing like a game Dungeons and Dragons, except for a Trans Am, you have a horse? You know what I mean? You're like just saying like, like I'm not show off,
saying a bunch of
ride your horse all around. You know, call everybody Smokies. Like
Smokies.
That's the other thing crazy about this movie is like sometimes they're talking about trucker language, like they're using like
there's a
trucker
whole
language
dialogue.
And like sometimes they explain what they're talking about. And sometimes they don't, and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah,
I have no clue. No,
yeah,
like
I thought that was pretty interesting too. It's like its whole the whole dialogue or there's this whole dialect.
Because cops are Smokies.
Yeah.
Truck stops are choke and pukes.
Choke and pukes, yeah.
Choke and pukes. So I was like, what does that mean?
You know what was weird? What, like, there was a couple scenes that didn't make any sense. Like, why was Snowman? What was the point of having him get in that bar fight at that bar? Like,
I have no clue.
I thought, like, you know what I mean? That was kind of weird. I didn't understand that, because there was no furthering of anything. Nothing came from it. You know what I mean? Like, stops in a truck stop to get gas and to get food. He orders food, and while he's ordering food, he brings his dog in, and this biker gang claims they're a dog. They beat 10 of them. They kick him out of the bar, and then he drives over their bikes. And that's it. They don't like chase him. Yeah, I thought they were going to come after him. Like, I thought they were like the bikers were going to like chase him down, and that'd have been like another. But no, there was just like, no, all right.
No, like it's kind of like it like you're right. It doesn't make sense. And also, there's this part where like they all pull over, they give each other food or whatever, and then like Burt Reynolds takes off, says we gotta go, and then like his dog goes in this lake, and like he has to walk around the snow. But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't put him behind. It doesn't it's not like the cops show up, and like you're just like, well, all right. So like,
I thought the ending was kind of weird like that too, because there's all these cops chase him, and they just go through the roadblock, and everybody's like, all right, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like they knew the truck was full of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like they get into Cadillac, and they're gonna like drive off or whatever, but like the cops, the cops aren't allowed in that party or whatever.
What's crazy is right, like they even say in the movie, like everybody knows it's the Bandits semi, because it's a pure black semi trailer, and on the side each side of the trailer is a big mural of a bandit robbing a coach. Like it's not like they're like anybody can say, well, that's not it. Like it's like it doesn't really make sense. And they jump in like that Cadillac, and they drive off, fuck with the sheriff one more time, and then they're gonna they're like, we're gonna drive to New England for chowder. Because the Ediths said like they challenged them to double or nothing, to get to Boston to pick up clan chowder and back in like 48 hours. Like like it's the craziest thing. And like the other thing too I thought was crazy is like 28 hours, it was never nighttime in this movie.
You're
you notice
right.
that? It was never nighttime.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I take that back. There, like when he drives behind the building, it gets dark. So actually, it is night. I lied.
wait, which time when he drives
When
by?
he drop when like the first time the cops are chasing him, and then he like pulls off behind that person's garage in their yard, and then
Oh
pulls
yeah, yeah,
out. It's
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
kind of dark.
yeah, yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that. You're right. There
But
was
there's not
only
a lot
like
of dark
there was
scene. Like
for being 28 hours. You know,
right, right,
maybe they
uh,
just assumed that they slept during the night. I don't. You know.
right, right. And like it's just yeah, it's like it's kind of crazy. But you know what's
Mhm.
like weird? And then like I was, did you ever see the second one? Because it's
Maybe
crazier than this one.
really.
Yeah, because it's all about them trying to transport an elephant. Like that's the thing in the second one, and like and it's somehow Sheriff Buford Justice catches
Mhm.
on to him again, and then
Buford T.
once
Justice.
again chases him across the country as they're trying to deliver this elephant. Like it's the craziest thing.
There's like three of them, right? Is there four?
Oh my god,
How
I
many
think
did
there's
you?
five. I don't. I think Burt Reynolds is only in the first two.
Mm.
Oh nope, there's three. There is three of them, and let's see, was Burt Reynolds in the third one?
Has to be, right? I
I
mean,
don't think so.
it's not really Smokey and the Bandit if he's not in that.
I
Yeah.
don't think he is. I think the third one's about Snowman. Yeah, he's not in it.
Wow.
Oh no, he is. He is. I lied. But he's not in the whole thing. I'm pretty sure in the third one he is like he kind
There's
of
a
shows up a
cameo or
little
something.
bit.
Yeah.
Let me look here.
That's yeah, that doesn't really I mean, I can't imagine the third one's very good, right? Yeah.
No, I think actually if I remember the third one, like Smokey and like Snowman are in a little bit, but the third one is the it's mainly like Bandit shows up a little bit. Snowman's the main character, but he's dressed just like Smokey. And the whole point of the third one is the Enos has bet Sheriff Buford that he can't drive from their ranch to Florida in a certain amount of time, or he has to give up his badge.
Well,
Yeah,
that sounds bad.
yeah, it's not good. Like if I remember, like the second one's like okay. If I remember, the third one is not great.
Yeah, yeah.
The third one was not very good at all, if I remember correctly. Um, you'll be surprised. I was taking a little peek at IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this movie only has two 1-star reviews?
Wow.
It has,
That's impressive.
yeah,
Like,
it has a lot of 10-star and like other ones, but like it only has
yeah.
two 1-star reviews.
Wow.
Now I think
Trees.
you generally like this film.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Yeah,
Like like I said, it was entertaining.
yeah,
It's nothing. It's no cinematic masterpiece, but as
no,
far as like the
no.
story and stuff
It's
goes.
like one of those things where it's like say like you kind of see problematic stuff like it is what it is for times, but like if you look at the movie on whole, it's fun afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
both these 1-star reviews did not feel that way.
Well, I mean,
The first
one of
one
them.
star review is titled "Rubbish, Rubbish."
Well, this
One of
guy
those
British.
I don't know, but he says one of these truly terrible films of all time. This needs to be deleted from the archives. Here's what he says that I think is going to really upset you. Burt Reynolds, terrible.
Wow, you know what? Fuck this person. Seriously.
Sally Field, okay.
Oh my god.
Jerry
That yeah.
Reed, who?
Wow. Wow.
Like,
This guy's this person can go F off.
yeah.
That's what I
The,
say.
the second
If you're
one,
if you're listening to this and you wrote that IMDb review, fuck you. That's what I say.
that review was written just a year ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Second review is titled One of the Worst Ever. Smokey the Bandit is by far one of the worst films ever. It is completely horrible in every way. I loathe this film in every single way, every single one in the world. Doesn't make sense. The story is just amazingly horrible. It would not make any sense if there's anything not to make sense of. I was appalled by this plot. It's just truly amazing that this was ever made into a movie. The screenplay is lacking in anything even resembling dialogue or characters, they just don't exist. Well, the dialogue does, but it's too cheesy to count as dialogue. The acting is horrible. Sally Fields gives a horrible performance, and it is the only one, and she is the only one that can be called of trying to do a performance. Once again, put down my man Burt Reynolds.
Wow.
The direction. Oh, he gets worse. The direction of this is horrible. It could even be made interesting if they took away the plot, but yet that just might make it worse. Was this guy drunk when he wrote this?
He might
the
be.
visuals are the visuals are the best part of the movie, and that's just sad.
Mm.
One of the worst films of all time, avoid at whatever cost.
I think this guy was confused. I think he thought Burt Reynolds was Heath Ledger.
Whoa. Whoa. You know what? How dare you? Okay. How dare you? That I just can't even how dare you? This movie was made for $4 million.
Mm.
It grossed it grossed during its theater run 126, almost $127 million.
Yeah.
It did really good.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to reboot Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay.
Who you want to play? Who's playing the Bandit?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of actors that are like the thing about Burt. So the guy that says about the bad acting, right? I kind of understand what he's saying because Burt Reynolds wasn't acting. That's Burt Reynolds. Like everything I've ever seen with him, that's just it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like it's very hard. I don't know any actors nowadays that have that much just natural charisma. And that's what it is with him. He's just like, hey, Burt Reynolds. Funny. I got a mustache. Like, you know, like I don't that's a tough one. I don't know who I would put in there. I mean, you could literally put any number of women for Sally Fields. Like, she wasn't anything special, you know what I mean? But and same way with Snowman, he was kind of this weird hillbilly guy, you know. But yeah, I don't know who you would. I don't know legitimately who you could replace him with. There's no actor nowadays that I'm like he would fit perfect in Burt Reynolds. You know what I mean? Like,
you know who they probably replace him with, don't you?
Vin Diesel
or the fucking Rock, one of the two.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, they just, you know, this is one that should never be remade.
I agree with that, because like the effects, like the look of the movie still holds up. I think you're right. Like, this one, you just don't touch it.
Because that's the thing, it would end up being like a Fast and Furious type of nonsense that nobody cares about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that wasn't this movie had a lot of charm and like character to it. Like, that was the whole point of it. You know, it's not like there's just like this generic vapid bunch of explosions and like, you know, like it
right.
So yeah, I don't know. There's nobody I'd put in there. So,
and I think the last thing you know what? Before I go to that next point, I think my only other option would be, right? You know what? You know, I don't think it'd be an option. You know what they would do if they ever remade this? It doesn't even matter why I ask this, because I can already tell you what they're going to do if they ever remade this. It's going to be about Smokey and Sally Field's son, or Bandit and Sally Field's son, who is going to be somebody who's trying to pretend to be Burt Reynolds. It's going to be shit. Yeah, I hope they don't ever remake this. Now that I said this, I am disappointed in myself that I put that out in the world, that this might be remade.
Yeah. It'll be. There wouldn't be any. It's not. There's nobody that should ever attempt to remake this movie. So.
No, not at all. But the other thing too, I think last thing we'll talk about is this may have one of the best movie songs.
Eastbound and Down,
which was literally written by the guy who played Snowman was a country singer. He wrote the song and sang it, and like, it's literally the plot of the movie.
Yeah. You know what's weird is I was thinking,
it's so catchy.
There's a lot of the songs in this very similar to when we watched Bloodsport, or Bloodsport. That like they sing about what's going on, but for some reason it works in this movie, and it was really weird and blood. You know what I mean?
Like it's crazy. Like I was thinking that, like, because Eastbound Down is literally just the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a song about the bandit
loaded up and truck it. That's what
load
they're
it up
doing.
and truck it.
They're gonna do what they say can't be done. You know what I
They
mean?
got a long way to go and a short time to get
there.
You know, like it's literally just a plot. And then like at one point, like when like the bandit and Sally Fields have their sweet moment, it's a song about the bandit finding love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's like another driving song when like they know they're like they're getting close. Like it's something about like the bandit in a hurry. And like, but like Eastbound and Down, they played that song like 4 times. And at one point they played the song in its whole entirety of a scene of them just driving like crazy.
Just driving like nuts.
And I loved it. Like what's crazy to your like it's weird. Like I feel like if I wrote what happens to this movie on paper, no one would like it.
Right? Yeah.
Damn,
you're like, it's fantastic.
Damn. Like I don't like
cars. I said that this movie. It knew what it was. Like it's like, hey, everybody involved in this movie is like, look, we're just making a movie about people fucking around driving cars. Like we're gonna play some country music over stuff.
Right? But like it's great. Like I said, like I don't even like car like driving.
Yeah.
But like even this, I was like, damn. I was like, look at him go in that Trans Am. Boy, Burt Reynolds, his cowboy hat. That the Trans Am is open at the top. Never once his hat blows off. Just cool as a cucumber.
Yes, the T-tops off. Yep.
He's just going, and like he's just driving in circles around those cops, and just you know. And every time they cut to his face, he literally just like he's on Sunday Drive. And I love it. I love it. Like I love it. And once again, like even to the guy that directed this, like I'm looking, I don't see anything crazy. Like besides this, I don't see like the fact that he did this with this movie. And before this, oh, dude, this guy was a stunt coordinator. He wasn't even a director. Oh wait, he was a stunt coordinator. Did he not like? Was this? He directed a couple movies, like some westerns and like. Oh my god! Okay, after Smokey and the Bandit, he directed Cannonball Run and Cannonball Run 2.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
This guy found his niche.
He did Smokey and the Bandit too. Smokey and the Bandit was the first movie he directed.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And like you said, like he knew what movie he wanted to make.
Right. He's like, we're making this movie.
He was like,
I'm hell or high water. Yeah, no.
They're like, what do you want to make a movie about? A truck driver and his lead car running from a sheriff.
Screwing around for
just driving around
for an hour and a half. They're just gonna be screwing around. Like
because like this movie like starts pretty quick. Like
10
minutes in, they're in the cars and they're just
they're
going.
And I think that's what it was, because it's like they're just fucking around the whole movie. Like you know what I mean? Like I said, because like there's really, I mean, the they don't make the stakes into like they could have got arrested or whatever. But the thing is, it's weird because he's like driving circles around these cops. Like nobody ever shoots at him or anything. They're just like what are you gonna do? Like if you don't pull over when a cop's chasing you, like what are they gonna? They're not gonna. They can't do anything unless they shoot at you or something. And that was kind of the thing. Like there was no real high stakes for this movie. It was just kind of like. Right, the cops are chasing us. Well, we got to do some donuts and lose.
Right. And like what's crazy is like even like they kind of like there's kind of like this love thing where like, you know, the bandit side feels, but like when they finally like, you know, hook up, wwhatever, it's literally like 2 minutes. It's like they're in the woods, they don't show anything. No, like, they're like, look, they're together now, people. Back to the car chase. You're like, oh my god, all right. You like CB radios?
yeah, right. Like,
hey, don't worry about trying to remember what this song is for the movie when you want to buy it. We're gonna play it 19 times.
Play it, yeah. You buy the soundtrack. It's like every third song is he's pounding down on the.
Oh my god! Oh man, it was just like it's Like, it's
It's a
weird.
fun.
Like,
It's just a fun movie. Like
yeah,
there's
the
no,
more I talk about it, this movie's more fun than even I think. I'm like, oh man, it's just yeah,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. This makes you feel good.
I like it. Like I like it. Like now, I feel like too. Anytime someone says anything, I'm gonna be like, when as soon as I get home, I'll punch your mom right in the mouth. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
it's gonna
like
be something. I'm gonna add that to my dialogue.
it's in your lexicon now.
Yeah, that's it. That's my lexicon now. You know, I think that's what I'm gonna say. Uh, yeah. So would you recommend this movie, Jeff?
Yeah, I think everybody should see it. I mean, like I said, there's some I mean, I hate to even like say offensive because they're very like discreet about it. Like I said, they're there's not there are some like quote unquote problematic parts you can say, but for the most part, they don't make a big deal out of them. You know what I mean? They're not
Right.
like it's not like an integral part of the plot.
Like, I think it's
I
like
mean,
one of those things. It was done because of the time, which I'm not saying that's acceptable, but like it's not like they wanted to overly do it. Like I think it was just like
right. It wasn't like purposeful. It didn't drag anything. Like
right. Not that that justifies when people do that, but I think it's like one of those like things at a time, and like that's not something you have to like condone, but like you
Well,
recognize it. And
I think some of them went to, and I think most of the culprit was Buford T. Justice.
oh, for
Like
sure,
he, and
100%.
I think once again, I think that was kind of to make him the heel, right?
Right.
Like that was kind of his deal is like he's this heel of a character, and I think they like if you really think about it, that added to him being a heel because there was no other the couple things that came up, there was nobody else in the whole movie that even remotely, you know what I mean, would have
Right.
thought of that, but like it's because this guy is the heel, you know what I mean,
Right.
like yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody should watch it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think if you want a good time, except that maybe there's two people that wrote those IMDb reviews.
Yeah,
Like,
if you like comedies,
yeah,
if you like car movies, like I said, and I'm not even
yeah,
a car guy, but like this is maybe some of the best like car stunt work, I think.
yeah, yeah,
And especially if you consider like when this movie was made. So it was released 77, is made 76. Like they were stuntmen driving these cars. Like it wasn't, there was no CGI.
yeah,
Like it
yeah,
was like people were driving these cars. I'd be
legitimate, yeah.
I'd be interested to know. I wonder how many Trans Ams they went through because they
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to fuck some
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's why Pontiac went out of business and broke all their Trans Ams.
but like I said, now like I'm sitting here like I gotta get Trans Am.
I mean, I'm sure these are like you can't even get Trans Ams anymore. They're
No,
probably they're just classic, or you have to like restore them or whatever, But
I wish they bring them back.
mm-hmm.
I wish they bring them back. I'd drive
Let's
like I
put
try to drive like it. Yeah.
Pontiac on the map,
Yep. Yep. Hey Pontiac, listen. How about this, Pontiac? We're trying to. You need to start back up again, right? You need to become a company again. First car you make, the Trans Am.
Trans Am.
You want faces on those Trans Ams to get people to buy them? I know two Loremasters who would gladly take a Trans Am off your hand, and we'll drive it all around.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
just drive it all around.
We'll take it through a river for
Yeah,
some reason.
jump across the bridge.
Come across the bridge.
Yeah, you know, we'll make our ladies sit in the passenger seat. We'll just drive real fast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, uh, uh, you can we'll call ourselves the Bandit.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll be Snowman. You can be Bandit. You know,
Put a CB radio in it.
we'll put CB. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, like, listen, if you're gonna give it to us, like, we have to put a CB radio in it, right?
Has to have a CB radio.
What's your call name gonna be?
Oh man, probably Big Red.
Big Red?
I don't know.
What about the Heat Miser? Because you said that's what
The Heat Miser. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Heat
Heat
Miser.
Miser. I wonder what mine would be.
Heath Ledger.
No, how dare you? That's sacrilegious. Maybe Ghost Rules.
Ghost Rules.
Yeah, because I'm the one that invented Ghost Rules.
Yeah, yeah. They're great too.
Oh well, I don't say anything. Oh no, I know what yours should be. Baby apologist. Okay.
Hey, baby, apologist.
That'd be yours. That'd be yours.
Villain apologist.
I will say this though. This is the first movie that you haven't defended the villain. So that was refreshing,
Yeah, yeah.
Because I thought you were gonna say like, it was unfair that they were trying to run from the cop and like he was just trying to do his duty and
No, because he was a proper villain. They didn't. Yeah, they like he was just like, you know.
He was a proper villain, but you mean like
Yeah.
the guy from Bloodsport wasn't?
No, he was misunderstood.
I
That guy just you can't have a villain in a movie when they literally say there's no rules to the fight. Once you say there's no rules to the fight, guess what? There's no right or wrong because there's no rules. You can't break a rule if there isn't any. So how can you be a villain?
well, technically, Bandit is the rule breaker in this movie.
So he's the villain.
And you're
rooting for the villain.
You know what? I don't
how
like
the
this.
turntables have turned.
I don't like this game. I don't like this game you play. All right. I don't like. I don't like. Listen. Hey, listen, Ben Affleck. I'm tired of your reindeer games. Okay.
I'm just saying. Who's rooting for the villain in this one?
But you just said the cop was a villain, so Bandit.
I said the cop was a heel,
which is a villain.
Well,
Heel's a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
A heel is a bad guy.
He's just a character viewed in a negative light.
Because he is typically bad.
He's trying to. Well, he's technically the good guy because follows the rules.
He doesn't follow the rules because he went across state lines to make an arrest. He is just as bad as the villain. See what happened there? See? No, look, now whose turntables turning? Tables.
I think you're reaching pretty far there. That's what I think.
You know what's weird? My arm barely moved.
Not as far as that lazy ghost had to reach to push that videotape.
Oh, no, my God. You know what? That wasn't lazy. It moved a videotape. It went from incorporeal to corporeal.
What if they recast Burt Reynolds as that lazy ghost? This movie would have been over the first 5 minutes.
Listen, coming from the guy who defended...
She'd have still been laying on that hammock.
Like, coming from the guy who defended the ghost who did nothing except for unscrew a light bulb and made some water cold. Like, you defended that ghost.
We already established
the laziest of ghosts.
She had some problems.
I can't even talk to you to get like this. Can't even do it. You know what? On that note, everybody, go watch Smokey the Bandit. Okay, just you decide, and then you tell Jeff why he's wrong. Tell him why he's wrong.
Well, I have a feeling that we're gonna get some more members on my side of the team. So that's
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, I think people are gonna look and be like, man, that ghost is stir of echoes. Fucking lazy. Literally, all it did the whole movie was shake a little bit, turn a light bulb, make some water cold.
She didn't have a videotape. That's all I'm saying.
She was messing with the TV though. She was probably trying to make a videotape, but was too lazy doing it.
She didn't know how.
You know why? Because she was lazy. Boom, roasted. Boom, roasted.
So not knowing how to do things makes you lazy?
In ghost terms, yes. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense.
Makes
now
perfect
you're making
sense.
Stuff up. You literally just making stuff up.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. You're a ghost. You should have the knowledge
she doesn't have
of
a
the
camcorder.
beyond.
How's she going to make a video? She doesn't have a camcorder.
She could but she has like a stereo.
So you just said she should have knowledge of beyond. But you also defended that lazy ghost, saying that she was a fresh ghost and she didn't know how to do things because she was a fresh ghost.
Listen. She had
but now you're saying that this. Now you're saying she was how to do stuff.
She was a new ghost and she was able to use her powers to push a tape. That's pretty impressive. This ghost has been a ghost for over a year. Couldn't figure out
6 months.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6 months. And the only thing she could do was.
Do you hate Kevin Bacon?
What? I don't hate Kevin Bacon.
That's what I'm hearing.
I sympathize with Kevin Bacon.
I
sympathize with Kevin Bacon.
I photosynthesis Kevin Bacon.
The ghost that he got couldn't tell him anything or help him. She's like, dig. And meanwhile, she's not even in the ground.
Well, that's because she couldn't talk to him.
She talked to him to tell him to dig, and she wasn't in the ground.
She didn't say. She just put that on the screen, and she had to have the help of that medium to do that.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Okay, all right, fine. All right, she needed help putting a word up, right? Why not put the word? Oh, I don't know, wall.
Then he would have tore every wall in his house down.
It would have took him less time than digging his whole backyard out, then breaking all the basement in his floor, digging it out before he happened to be like, oh, fuck it, she must be in the wall. We could cut out like 12 hours of digging if we would start taking out walls.
Nobody noticed
He
anyway.
dug from morning till middle of the night. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
And then he was so dehydrated from all that digging, he thought the best idea was, I'm going to go tell the killers that I found the body and I'm going to call the police before I do it. If he had been dehydrated, he'd be like, I shouldn't do that. See? It's that ghost fault. There you go. There you go. You're a ghost apologist now.
I'm not engaging you in this conversation anymore. So,
wow. You know what? On that note, hey everybody, thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed what you listen, make sure you subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a 5-star review. It's April. April is the time of spring, the time of renewed hope. And what renews hope better than giving somebody 5 stars? See what I did there? See what I did there? If you listen on iTunes, you can also leave us a review. You know, explain to Jeff why he's wrong. That's all. I think that's a reasonable ask. You can also watch episodes on YouTube. So please follow, like, and subscribe. New episodes of the podcast drop on your podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts on Mondays. We then release the episodes to watch on YouTube on the Wednesday of that same week. So make sure you do that. Follow, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified that the new episode dropped on YouTube. We appreciate it. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at Loremasters of the Absurd.
and if you tune into YouTube, you can see Eli be wrong in addition to hearing me wrong.
How dare you? No, you can see me righteously defend. No, but you can if you want to see my righteous defenses, you can follow me on Instagram at Loremaster Eli. Jeff, where can they follow you?
Loremaster Jeff is always right on Instagram.
That's not even real. That's not even a real page.
That's just Loremaster Jeff on Instagram.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all next week as we continue our month of fun and foolishness. Or as I'm gonna start calling it because of his arguments, a month of Jeff, a month of fools.
Wow. Wow.
See,
that's ignorant.
Wow. Hey, well, you're a ghost apologist, so bye everybody.